Marcellus.
To the desk.
That's what I say. What I say, join the death. Yeah, I'm very sorry. Marcellus, seriously, help me out here, bro.
Yeah.
What the hell happened last night?
Look, that was one that caught me off guard as well. You know, I tried to soften my landing yesterday by saying that the Chargers would lose. You know, put it out there, lay the mattress down, because I thought that they were going to lose on a shortened week, being a road team and undermanned. No Keenan Allen, no Melvin Gordon. I just was like, this is an L waiting to happen. But we all know one narrative is true in sports, that if a road team gets to hang around, they start to build that confidence. Like, oh, especially when you're playing a front-runner team like the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of how they score points, but they also give up points. It's nothing worse than being in sixth gear running comfortably and look back, and only a couple paces behind is the person you thought was going to be way behind you. I would say to you, Whitlock, understated is undervalued in this league. Coming in with a balanced approach like the Chargers have, only two teams in our league are top 10 in both offense and defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers, which you like to take shots at, and my LA Chargers. That's it. Everybody else is coming in with this lopsided balanced attack, which is Kansas City Chiefs, 30th in defense and first in offense. And this understated approach coming from the toughness of his quarterback and the toughness of his coach, who was nearly killed in a car accident, if people don't know that, near-death experience that really gives this team a different grit than other teams. Remember, this is a team that was 0-4 last year. Since that point, have won 18 of their last 22 games. Best winning record in the NFL. And even in those 4 losses, 3 of them were by 3 points or fewer. This is a team that is not getting the proper credit and respect, and that's okay. Flying under the radars has served them well, and I think they're going to continue to put out performances like this with a balanced approach.
Well, welcome to my world, my friend. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to stay on topic today. The Chargers are the type of team that once you get them down, you got to continue to pile on, and that's normally Kansas City's deal. They normally just keep piling on the points. And I don't know whether it's an indictment on the Kansas City Chiefs for taking their foot off the pedal, or whether it's, you give the thumbs up to the Chargers and what they did on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, this team only had 8 possessions. Kansas City only had 8 possessions in the total game last night. And I'm telling you, this is the formula for how you beat these high-powered offenses. You got to minimize their possessions. You look at Kansas City. Look at the Chargers, rather. 30 first downs. They won time of possession by 7 minutes, and it goes back to what we talked about yesterday. You said you didn't trust Andy Reid. I said that, he doesn't get a bad rep because this is what happens more times than not to an Andy Reid coach team in big games. They just don't close the deal. They start off like a house of fire, and then all of a sudden, they burn out and flame out.
Tennessee playoffs last year, 21-3 lead, lost that. Yeah.
I just hate I wasn't here yesterday. So I got a chance to talk about what team I was beating. Because I was out, and I told people, I said, the Chargers going to win this football game. The Chargers, you a sellout. You played for the Chargers, sellout here.
I wanted them to win the most important one in the playoffs. I don't need this one on Thursday night.
You need this one, too, because they can win the division. Let me tell you something. The Chargers are a very good football team. I've been saying this all year. And, Anthony Lynn's name has not been coming up for Coach of the Year. Man, when you don't have your starters, they have had a lot of players out. Melvin Gordon's out. They had Joey Bosa, they just got back. Yeah. They have a very good defense. I think the 2 teams are playing the best defense, probably the Dallas Cowboys and the San Diego Chargers. They go to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, give them a 16-point jump, come back and beat Pittsburgh. They go to Kansas City, in Kansas City, a team that everybody's saying Super Bowl, and beat Kansas City. And this team is not the same team, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, without Kareem Hunt. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, that is a gigantic loss. You might not see it. You're like, they can put Spencer Ware. Not the same football team. The Chargers are to me, they're the best team in the AFC. I think they're the team to beat because they're that hot. You know how it is playing football. You peak at the right time, and they're peaking right now.
They lost to the Rams. They lost to the Chiefs in week 1 with a lot of young players getting their first opportunities, Derwin James. and then they gave one away to the Denver Broncos. But just think about it. On your resume, you only lost to the two teams that everyone's saying are the Super Bowl contenders, the best.
You 10 and 11. They won the last 10 games.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to Seth's point in some places where I'm trying to temper my emotions, but I legitimately did not sleep last night because this game just haunted me, and I'm frustrated with the referees for sure. But Andy Reid and this Chiefs defense, and I know Andy Reid's the offensive coach, but I think that's part of the problem because I'm looking at a garbage defense and a garbage strategy on defense. Everybody's celebrating the Phillip Rivers throw to Benjamin on 4th down. Oh, my God, it's one of the great throws and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's not. This was very simple because the Chiefs' defensive system is so simple. We're going to play man on the outside, and our safety's going to break wide. Phillip Rivers, 5-step drop, he's throwing to a spot because the defense is so obvious, it's so predictable. This isn't his second read. This is what the guy knows from the entire game and from their pregame preparation. Kansas City only plays man coverage, and they play two deep safeties, and they split wide at snap. I'm just going to throw to this spot, and this guy's going to be there. This is just a practice. The defense, and the reason I blame Andy Reid is because anytime you watch Andy Reid, no one talks about this. He's always sitting on the bench next to the quarterback when the defense is out on the field. And I'm like, he's not even involved in that side of the ball, and it drives me crazy.
You know what? I disagree with you.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a
Thank
throw.
you.
Look
at it. That is a hell of a throw. It's like this.
You have to understand what the defense is trying to accomplish here.
He knows exactly what they're trying to accomplish.
but you got two man, and that guy that's covering that slot receiver, he knows that he's got help over the top and outside, okay? And the only place that Phillip Rivers can throw that ball is where he put it. Now, you just got to give credit where credit is due. That's just a great play. Now, I agree with you. The defense is predictable. You know he's going to play two-man. But what that guy got to do is he got to get inside and close that window and make that ball go over the top where his help is, man.
The defender's in perfect position. If Phillip Rivers, yes, he is.
No,
if Phillip Rivers delivers the ball exactly where they predetermined place, there's nothing they can do.
I wish we could stop the film and I could show you. There's a direct window. When you got a guy, that's why I say I don't understand why these coaches play outside technique, even against single high safety. Because the direct throw to a guy that's crossing the field like this, that's the easiest throw in the world. If this is the receiver, he's got to get inside. He closes that window. Now the ball has to go over the top and outside. But that direct throw, that was a great throw, man.
Yesterday, in preparation for this game, I was reading articles. Washington Post put one out. Pro Football Focus said that Phillip Rivers is the third best quarterback in tight window throws by quarterback rating. But first, if you talk about the yards per attempt in that same quarterback rating, that means down the field and you have blanket coverage. Good luck against Phillip Rivers. That's what this is. And look, he's a shot putter, so he's learned his own method of having accuracy and anticipation despite not having velocity. He has admitted Patrick Mahomes can make throws I can't even think of making. We saw him yesterday get sacked multiple times just because he's not mobile, looking for the defender because he knew he couldn't outrun the guy. Let me just take this sack. But Phillip Rivers in these moments, because of his grit, his integrity, his clutchness, and that kind of accuracy, he's going to.
I would tell you what.
To me, it's a commitment to technique. Look at his footwork; it's perfect. Everything about it.
Yeah.
And so again, he is accurate. And again, you can't feed this man a steady diet of man coverage because he is that accurate. You have to vary your coverages. Bob Sutton doesn't do it, and they got a damn head coach that completely ignores the defensive side of the football.
I will tell you this, and you see it is a mode of operation in the NFL. I have never seen so many teams in third and long situations that sit back and play zone or play man. They don't bring the pressure. If you bring pressure on third down and you give a quarterback, now you got to scheme it correctly because you can bring 5 and they got 5 to block it and they pick it up, a 6 to block it. But if you scheme it correctly, you should come with a blitz every once in a while that gives that quarterback one read and one read only. If he makes the wrong decision, it's either...
The problem, though, is he only had one read here because he knows what they're doing. He never looked at anybody else. He said, I'm going to take these 5 steps. and I'm going to release the ball, and I'm going to step through this throw, and I'm going to throw to a spot. Again,
Jason, he knew where his mismatch was. That's what that is. That's just playing great
quarterback. You got to know your mismatch.
He knew where the mismatch was. It didn't matter how many reads.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying. Not any quarterback in that situation. But I'm just saying, this is elementary. This is fundamental football. Given the coverage and given the way the Chiefs played the entire game, the Chiefs do the same damn thing on defense, play after play after play. And I'm going to tell you what, you can do that if you have all-stars all around you.
If you got pass rush.
Well, they got pass rush. They got Chris Jones. But again, they don't have all-stars at linebacker on the back end of their defense. You can't sit these guys in their secondary in the same coverage play after play after play.
I will say
they're not talented enough for that. Help them out with scheme.
Defenses are too passive in today's game. They're so afraid of giving up the big play that guess what they do?
They give up the big play.
Well, let's not lose sight that no matter who's on your defense and what coverage you call, there's no defending the perfect pass.
Right.
You can throw someone open or the perfect pass like we saw right there. Don't put that on Bob Sutton. He's like, bruh, he is as close as he can be without getting that flag, and still Phillip Rivers found that window.
You have to give the Chargers the credit they do. This is a very, very good football team. You know, Phillip Rivers sometimes, he'll throw the interception like, wow, not now, not now, don't throw it right now. Realistically,
for halftime.
If this game, if they didn't turn the ball over not one time, they would have beat the Chiefs by 14 points easily. This would have been a cakewalk for them. But they turned the ball over right there, going in for a half to touch. I'm like, you got to at least 10 points.
At least get the 3.
Yeah, get the 3 and get out of there. Yeah.
I just think a quarterback as accomplished and experienced as Phillip Rivers, the Chiefs just look foolish feeding this guy a steady diet of the same thing over and over and over again. The guy's too good for that. Make him think. He didn't even have to think. All he had to do was trust his mechanics and what he's been doing for the past 30 years. Easy throw.